Welcome to the Eat Better, Move Better, Live Better podcast presented by Flourish with Tracy, where we'll dive into the realms of holistic wellness, plant-based nutrition, yoga, and self-care to help you live your best life. Tune in every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our special segments. Meditation Monday, start your week with mindfulness. Wellness Wednesdays, get the midweek boost you need. Sadhana Saturdays, dedicate weekends to personal growth. Join us as we explore and discuss all things to eat better, move better, and live better. In a previous episode, we introduced Bhakti Yoga, the practice of divine love and devotion. And within Bhakti Yoga, we discuss the 9 limbs of devotion. Today, we're going to explore one of these practices, Shravana. It is the sacred art of devotional listening. In Bhakti Yoga, this is where it all begins. Before we chant or pray or provide servitude, the first thing we must do is listen, and truly listen with our hearts. This is the practice of Shravana. Shravana comes from the Sanskrit root of shru, which means to hear or to listen. In Bhakti Yoga, listening is not a passive act. Shravana is an act of love. It's not just hearing words or story, it's receiving divine truth through sound vibration with reverence and faith. When you practice active devotional listening, you open yourself as a vessel to allow sacred sound, stories of the divine, and teachings of truth to flow through you, to purify your hearts and to awaken your divine remembrance. It is said that by hearing glories of the divine, the heart becomes cleansed of all misgivings and loving devotion arises naturally. This means that when we listen to mantras, spiritual stories, or teachings with devotion, the sound vibration itself works as a form of medicine, healing the restless mind, purifying the heart, and realigning us with our divine essence. And this all begins with the spiritual power of sound. And in a previous episode, we spoke about the importance and healing nature of vibrational frequencies. And this includes sound. Let's take a moment to pause and reflect on the sound itself. Sound is sacred. Sound is of the universe. It is of the divine. From the very first vibration of the word Om. Om is a 4-part sound symbolizing creation, sustenance, and completion. And then the 4th silent sound represents the all. And within this sound and all sounds, we carry energy, intention, and consciousness. So when we engage in devotional listening, Shravana, we are not simply listening to stories or music. We are fine-tuning our consciousness like an instrument to divine frequency. And there are levels of sound awareness. There is an outer audible sound like spoken words or music. There's the inner sound we hear within our own mind or during a meditation. And then there is the quiet, most subtle sound. It's a divine vibration underlining all the universe and creation. And through devotional listening, Shravana, we begin to listen with the outer sound, and then it gradually quiets, drawing us inward into silence, into stillness, into the very vibration of the divine within us. So how do you practice Shravana? There are many ways, but each method is all centered around the same sacred act of listening with the heart. The first way is listening to sacred stories. You can listen to your mythical stories or stories of saints or deities. It is through these stories that our minds are uplifted and our hearts are softened. You may listen to spiritual scriptures or texts or stories, not merely as tales, but as mirrors reflecting your own personal soul journey toward love. A second way to practice Shravana is by listening to mantras or kirtan. When we listen to a sacred chanting or hymnals, we allow the vibration to cleanse our subtle body. We invite the frequencies of these vibrations in. Even if we aren't chanting ourselves or singing these hymnals, simply listening attentively with openness and love allows the vibration and the mantra to do its work. Another way is to listen to a spiritual teacher, to share space with them. This is called satsang. You can listen to a teacher, a mentor, a guru, a spiritual advisor, and just listen and realize that being is considered direct transmission. And when you listen, words are secondary. It's the presence and the vibration of the space and the truth presented which reach beyond intellect, awakening insight and devotion, a sacred reciprocity. Another way is listening to nature. Nature itself sings with the messages of the divine if we take the time to listen. The rustling of leaves, the rhythm of rain, the hum of bees, all of these are sacred expressions of the cosmic sound. To listen deeply to nature is the practice of Shravana, hearing the divine and naturalness in all things. So let's take a moment to reflect, to listen within, to practice experience Shravana. Take a moment and just close your eyes and take a deep breath in and out. Begin to listen. Notice the sounds around you. Notice the sounds near and far. Don't label them as noise or distraction. Simply receive the sound. Now turn your listening inward. If you wish, you can cup your hands over your ears. Listen to your breath. Listen to your heartbeat. Notice that beyond all sound there is a still presence, silent, spacious, aware. Notice that this silence is also the divine. It is the foundation upon which all sound arises and dissolves. You can lower your hands and continue to breathe, listening. When we listen with full presence without judgment, we are practicing Shrvana, opening our hearts to receive the divine in every vibration. Continue to listen here for a moment, breathing in and out. Begin to slowly open your eyes, fully awake and aware of the space around you, continuing to take notice of what you hear as you listen. When we practice sincerely, Shravana transforms the heart. It is said that Shravana leads to remembering. This hearing stays with us when we hear in devotion. It becomes contemplation, then inspiration, then realization. When our listening becomes a practice of devotion, when we practice Shravana, our mind becomes calm and receptive. Old patterns and doubts begin to dissolve. Our faith deepens, our love awakens, and our relationship with the divine becomes intimate and alive. Our hearts open. Even without elaborate rituals or austerities, just the simple act of listening with our hearts, listening in love, listening with devotion is enough to awaken a divine union. So how can you bring a practice of devotional listening or Shravana into your daily life? You can just keep it simple, keep it practical. In the morning, you can begin your day by listening to a mantra, a spiritual discourse, or soft devotional music instead of news or phone alerts. You can do your sacred reading aloud, reading a passage from your favorite scripture or writings, and then pause to listen inwardly to the echo that you hear. You can do a fast from all of your digital devices to create a space of silence, times when you only listen to your breath, your heart, or your nature. By placing and cupping your hands over your ears, closing your eyes, and connecting to your breath. Just being still and being present. You can also practice Shravana when you listen to others while engaged in a conversation, to listen without planning a reply. Listening itself becomes an act of servitude and compassion. And then in the evening, before you go to sleep, reflect by listening to a short story or a chant that connects and reconnects you to divine remembrance. Shrvana is not just hearing, it's receiving. It is listening with your whole being, listening until the listener, the sound, and the source become one. Devotional yoga begins when we truly listen, because it's only through listening that love is established. Let's take a moment here for a short affirmation. May I listen with my heart. May divine sound purify my mind. May all I hear remind me of love. As you go forth for the remainder of your day, may you carry with you the remembrance of Shravana, knowing that it's not only the act of hearing divine stories or sacred sounds, but a way of living in deeper awareness. Remembering that when we listen with sincerity, we allow the divine to speak through every voice, every breath, and every moment of silence. And it is through this sacred listening the noise of the outer world softens and the quiet truth of the heart becomes clear. May you cultivate humility to listen beyond words. May the experiences that we receive be taken as an opportunity for teaching and an opportunity to listen with devotion. And may the grace become a divine sound to awaken love within us. For when we listen deeply, we are listening to the voice of the beloved within. Thank you for sharing time and space today. Namaste. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's insights help you on a personal journey towards a healthier, happier life. Don't forget to join every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern for more self-care and holistic wellness tips. Before you go, make sure to comment, click the bell, like, and subscribe buttons for upcoming episode notifications. Be sure to always consult a medical professional before making any major changes regarding your health, diet, or routine. In the meanwhile, stay motivated, stay inspired, and remember, every step you take is one step closer to a better you. Until next time, keep flourishing, and as always, may all be well.